Bruh, 24 carries, 132 yards, 2 tutties. Like, whatever rumors there were of this guy's demise or decline, he clearly has not gotten the memo.
Hello and welcome to the Think RBA podcast. I am your host, Hack, and my host, my brother, my amigo, my chico, sir. Hey, yo.
What's going on?
What's good, man? I'm chilling. I'm good. I'm here living the life of my brother. Life is good, man.
Literally chilling. It's hoodie weather. It's back. Finally.
That's right. Got me my jacket, little light jacket. It's a nice cool weather, right? I wouldn't say it's not snow yet, it's not freezing cold yet.
No. It's perfect fall hoodie weather, man.
It's my favorite weather, man. My favorite weather. And you know what? The best time, like fall football, it's beautiful, right? It's like a match made in heaven.
My favorite time of the year.
Yes, sir. And my favorite times of the year, there's another change of scenery, let's say, lately. We're not in Oakland anymore, Toto.
Or in Vegas.
Or in Vegas. So we're not in Vegas anymore, Toto. We are, we have gone on to some other, I don't know, greener pastures, but not those kind of greener pastures.
So wait a minute. Does this mean that what happens in Vegas doesn't always stay in Vegas?
Oh, no, sir. It does not. And if you have not caught on, we're talking about the news that has been in the cycle for a few weeks.
It's been in the cycle for a few weeks, but now it's really hit hard in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, and this is Davante Adams has officially been traded from the Raiders to the Jets. So is it time has Dylan stopped saying to just end the season because they just got some new life? Is there new life in it?
No. He don't care. He's still going to say that regardless. Okay. But it doesn't faze him.
Doesn't faze. All right. Well, Davante Adams is supposedly supposed to, give Jets a new life, a new lifeline. He's reunited with his first quarterback, Aaron Rodgers from Green Bay. Is it? When two friends meet after a long time and it's like they never left? Hey. Is it one of those things? I mean, is the chemistry going to be like that?
I mean, it's like you and me, right? Like,
right.
We can go,
except that we don't fire our head coach
and quit and go to other teams. And I think, look, there's no world or there's no scenario that you bring in Davante Adams and get worse. Can we just set a foundation right there? Right?
Facts. We can all agree on that.
Hopefully we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's going to come in and make their offense more dynamic. He is going to open up a lot more opportunities for Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is no longer going to be that guy who's getting, double covered or having coverages shade towards his side to limit his opportunities where there's guys open elsewhere in the progression. He is going to still catch some ridiculous passes from Aaron because, Aaron, he's a gunslinger, right?
He can air it out.
He's always been a gunslinger, but then he learned under Favre, who was a gunslinger himself. Like, he knows how to distribute the ball, and he can get the ball in tight spots, right? So I feel like Davante's going to get his. I think Garrett Wilson's going to probably be a little bit better than he has by getting some relief. Like, he's just not, this is probably going to sound bad, but like, he's not quite that number one guy yet, right? He's a little too young. But nonetheless, look, offensively, they're going to get better. Now, I actually heard this perspective from Rich Eisen I was listening to earlier today, and because he's a huge Jets fan. So I was like, I want to hear what he has to say. One of the things that he said was like, while this is nice, it doesn't fix all the holding penalties. It doesn't fix some of the lack of protection, right? He said it doesn't fix cornerbacks that are holding receivers 5 yards down the field. So I don't think it's an end all be all. I don't think it's automatically like they go from 2-4 to championship immediately, but they definitely got better. They still have a shot. They're only, I think, a game and a half, 2 games behind in the division. And I'm sorry, but the Dolphins and Patriots aren't catching them. So it's really the Bills, Jets, fighting for that division and or wild card. I definitely think it makes them a playoff team, once they get it all together. But look, there's no way to deny it. He is a significant addition to the squad.
Absolutely. And again, being a significant addition, again, it's a team sport, right? This is not a individual sport. And that too, not only is it a team sport, it's a sport where different personnel play different sides. They're committed to one side of the ball or the other, right? Not like basketball where you have to play both sides. So
Right.
yeah, significant piece. However, still got to fix the other side of the ball, right? It doesn't fix those problems. So valid point.
So to be fair, I mean, they have a really, really good defense. Like they have a top 10 defense, probably top 5 defense. But there's still issues to be had. I mean, the last game, Buffalo ran it down their throats. Like it was kind of crazy. But in pockets, they've had some issues. But overall, I mean, they got a strong offense and a strong defense. Like the recipe is there if they put all the ingredients together correctly. You know what I mean?
Right. And put them together correctly was the key word. Correctly.
Right. Like you can't just can't just throw everything into a bowl and air fry it, right? Like we gotta like slow cook one, and then maybe we need to pan sear the other, and then like put one in the oven, one in the stove, like
and usually that's what the coach does. That's what the coach technically does, right? And what's the coaching situation looking like? Is there a potential for?
I mean, they're rolling with the interim head coach. I don't see a scenario where they would make another change. So I mean, it's just a matter of whether or not that interim coach has their ear. I mean, we've seen it a lot in history. Like sometimes the interim coach kind of just is there as a lame duck. And then other times they rally behind it. I almost said Oakland. It's your fault. The Raiders last year, they rallied around Antonio Pierce and he ended up getting the job permanent. Right. So, it's really up to them. I think the best thing that could have happened for the interim coach, Jeff Ulbrich, is them making this kind of splash move because it takes the attention and the focus off of him and onto the Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers stuff. Really, it puts it on Aaron Rodgers, right? And so it deflects that spotlight that he had for a real brief period of time before the news cycle moved on to Devontae and Aaron. So I think that's actually the best possible outcome that he could have had because if things go well, he looks great. If things don't go well, he was an interim coach anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. Well, they're in a position to make some potential noise, and we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. To continue on to this journey of changing the scenery, right? Changing the scenery. So we're not in Cleveland anymore. We have moved north. Not
too far.
Not too far, but the yellow brick road has taken us to Buffalo.
Yeah.
And Amari Cooper has found himself a new home with Josh Allen. My God, what an upgrade. What an upgrade.
Another one, because he's bounced around now a little bit from the Raiders to the Cowboys to the Browns to the Bills now. But man, you talk about a huge upgrade for the Bills. Like the Bills are already good. But I'm just saying, like from the Bills' perspective, right? Like they're already good. They're already built to win the division. They're one of the top teams in the AFC. And the only weakness that you could say that they had was not having a true wide receiver one.
Right.
And now they're like, okay, bet we got something for you. Enter Amari Cooper, and I think it's gonna be seamless. I think he's gonna, again, like you said, it's a massive upgrade for him. Because whatever is left of Deshaun Watson is not the Deshaun Watson we all knew pre-allegations, post-allegations.
Right.
That Deshaun Watson's rough. He's real rough on the field. Rough to watch. So, so for Amari, this probably feels like he's finally got out of purgatory. I'm just saying, I'm saying, right?
I mean, valid points. So I know because we mentioned before on the previous one about the whole Devontae situation that it's the Bills and the Jets. But this, I mean, pretty much I would say solidifies the Bills to kind of hold the division at this point, or no? Or am I jumping ahead?
I think there's still a lot of football to be played. We're only 6 weeks in. There's still a lot of football to be played. So you never know.
But both teams received a good wide receiver, right?
Mm-hmm.
To fill those positions. Would one be confident, if I was Bills Nation, would I feel confident that we pretty much hold this division, we can secure this division with the addition of?
Look, I know a Bills fan pretty well. Their confidence is sky high.
Okay.
So,
like a Dallas fan?
No, that's irrational. That's irrational. No, it's more just like it's confidence because they've been there. But then the problem is like you've been there and you haven't produced at the end. So they got to do more than just be a good team and get in the playoffs. Like they got to do something with it. So we'll see. I mean, it's an interesting year in the NFL, and I feel like it's more wide open right now than it has been in a long time.
Okay. So anything's possible. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to go back out west because what happened in Vegas perhaps may stay in Vegas. And I speak of the gentleman that they refer to as the GOAT, as Tom Brady, has officially become a partial owner of the Raiders.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the Devontae trade may have been, I don't know if it has any impact on that or if he had any impact on that. We don't know, possibly.
I think the timing of it was great, right? Because it deflected from the Raiders a lot of the questions about Devontae.
Right. So Tom has officially become part owner of the Raiders. And I know there's a bunch of stipulations that there are on things that he can and cannot do, and we'll go through those. But he's going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, he's going to be an owner / commentator.
Correct.
And then just right off the bat, the first thing that came to mind was, is there any type of conflict of interest with these two positions, given many of the stipulations that he has? And we'll go through those again. And then my other second question to that is, this seems like new territory. Has there been a previous part owner who has also been a commentator, and how did they handle that situation? So while you come up with all that, let me kind of just go over some of these stipulations while you kind of, put the wheels together. So his restrictions are: he's not permitted to be in any other team's facility. He's not permitted to witness practice. He's not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings, either in person or virtually. Prohibited from publicly criticizing game officials and other clubs. Subject to the NFL's gambling policy, subject to the NFL's anti-tampering policy. So now as we go through those, like, for example, very quickly, if you're not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings, isn't that kind of like your job as a commentator? Isn't that part of your job? Is there some element of that? You're prohibited from publicly criticizing game officials and other clubs? Like, how do you commentate without criticizing?
Right. No, it's interesting to me because, like, when I saw that list, I thought, kind of like one of my immediate thoughts was like, well, I don't know how long this can last. I don't know how long he can last as a commentator, if only for the fact that you can't do the pre-production, right? So he's not going to be able to go and meet with the other coach from other teams and their players in those facilities because he's a part owner of another team. That's going to put him at a disadvantage. Now, look, I mean, the man could get up there and talk about football without a production meeting, I'm sure. But again, like, if you're in commentary, and I don't think Tom Brady does things to not be the best at them or try to be the best at them. So if you're in commentary to try to be the best, you're putting yourself, like, you got to work 10 times harder to be prepared because you don't get all of the inside information, all of the insight you would normally get by participating in those, on-site, in the facility type of pre-production meetings. In terms of, like, not criticizing the officials, it's definitely going to be a fine line. I mean, what I read and understand, like, he can say he doesn't like a call or he doesn't agree with the call. I think that there's just a line that they're going to work on, right? And it may be interesting to see if that line gets pushed. And same thing with players, right? Like, you got to be careful with how you speak about other players from other teams, how you speak about other clubs, like, he can't, if the Jets are sitting there and they're having a horrible game, you can't talk about them being a disaster, right? Like, you got to cut that part of your brain off. I think it's a huge challenge. And I don't think it's going to last long term. It might last this season. It might last another season, but I don't think it's going to be there for the long run. What about you?
I don't even think it's going to last that long, to be honest with you. I think that whole concept does a huge disservice to the position of commentating, right? To the job discipline of commentating. We as fans listen, and those are the things that are a part of natural conversation that resonate with us, because we're also critiquing at our homes with our friends and texting back and forth and whatever it is. So I don't know how you do the job efficiently and to be the best if you're not able to fully do it, with complete freedom and flexibility. Because this, if
Right.
this does anything, it just binds you down even further and puts you in a narrow lane that you can't. And I don't see Tom to be that kind of person where he's going to say, "Oh no, I'm going to, follow this narrow path." It's just, I don't see it happening long term. So I don't know how long he's going to be able to do this. So I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Well, then, did you hear the most recent news with Tom? Now that he is
What's
a
that?
part owner, he's looking to bring a certain somebody over to coach the Raiders.
Oh, some old flame.
Some Billy Bill.
Billy Bill.
Some Billy Bob. Bill.
Okay. Hey.
Big Bill, whatever we want to call him.
Hey, well, Bill was applying for a position. About a year ago. My man losing it over
here. He lost his position too.
That's right.
In Atlanta, he was out there in the yacht and thought that he had it under control. Old Double B's, but
my man losing it over here.
But no, like for real, if Bill Belichick came to coach the Raiders and Tom was part owner, like talk about the mentee exceeding the mentor, right? Like
role reversal.
You like, wait, I worked for you for so long, and now you work for me. That's crazy. It's a crazy thought.
Hey, but you know what though? For a teacher, if the student exceeds and becomes great, like that's a proud moment. It's a proud feeling.
That's true.
Right. So I mean, for me, like, I don't know, if I saw my child do way better than I did, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
That's true. That's a good point.
But my second question, any prior examples of this ever happening in the past? Anything come to mind? Anyone come to mind? Or this is completely new territory?
I'll probably get flamed, but I don't, I was trying to rack my brain thinking about if this has ever happened. Nah, I can't. I really can't think of any off the top of my head. Maybe because it's late at night. Okay. I don't know. But I'm sure somebody, if it did, somebody's going to tell us about it.
Well, and even if it did, it's not notable enough where we're going to, pick it up immediately like a Tom Brady.
Right.
So, all right, cool. Well, let's transition over to our standard, our week to week, encapsulating all the greatness and not so greatness that happened out there on the field, on the green. A lot of this news is off the field. Now let's get on the field and see what our resident expert, our SME, or SME, aka Chico. Hey, listen, you're coaching youth football. You closer to than I am. So you tell us your thoughts on the biggest winner of the week. Of week what? Week 5.
The biggest winner was the Atlanta Falcons. Like, no, I'm just kidding.
The Atlanta Hawks.
The Atlanta Hawks. The biggest winner, I would say. Okay, I know where I'm going to go with this one. There's a couple places I could go. That's why I'm kind of hesitating. Like, which one do I want to go with the most? I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears this week.
Oh.
And now, granted, right, they played the Jaguars, but they played the London Jaguars, not the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville they're veterans of these London games, right?
They are.
They know how to prepare for them. Like, they're there every year. They've been there every year for the last 10 freaking years, right? Like,
has it been that long?
I don't know. I'm just making numbers up, but it's been a while. It's been a long time. And so if there's anybody who knows how to prepare for that London game, it's the Jaguars, who play there every year, at least once. If not, they're playing back-to-back, right? Back-to-back weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
it's an extended vacation.
No, it's definitely an extended vacation for them. But for me, I picked the Bears because they came in and they handled their business decisively, 35-16, and they moved to 4-2, which is crazy. Like, at some point, we're going to have to have a conversation about the NFC North. But Caleb Williams, I know you're going to talk about rookies later, 23 of 29. He only missed on 6 passes, 226 yards, 4 tutties, and a pick, right? I mean, you can't ask your rookie to be better than that, but you're talking about a cross the pond, right? Early for us, early morning, like 9:30 start time at Eastern time, like against a team that knows how to go travel to London, knows how to prepare for that game. And you come in and you just beat up on them, 35-16. Like, you can't hate that, right?
No, absolutely not.
And then at some point, we're gonna have to talk about the NFC North, because you're talking about 5-0 Vikings, 4-1 Detroit, 4-2 Packers, and the 4-2 Bears. I mean,
That's stacked, man.
Record wise, they're easily, without a doubt, unquestioned, the best division in football. It's not even close. Just completely stacked. Every single one of those teams, this is crazy. Every single one of those teams has a positive point differential. Do you know what the lowest point differential is? And I'm going to have you guess, and then I'm going to give you context.
I have no idea.
So let me give you some context, right? Let's say the Carolina Panthers, their point differential for the year is minus 100, meaning they've been outscored by 100 points, right? So if it's minus, you've been outscored. If it's positive, you have outscored people.
Got it.
Let's look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They're a plus 33, right? Respectable.
Okay.
Let's say the highest team in the whole AFC is the Buffalo Bills. We talked about them earlier, plus 39. So them, the Steelers, Chiefs are all in the plus 30s. They're the best in the AFC. In the NFC North, only division where all four of them are positive and all four of them are plus 40 or more.
Wow. 40.
So Green Bay is plus 41. Chicago is plus 47. Detroit is plus 60. And Minnesota is plus 63. I mean, insane. And the next...
That's wow.
And the next closest one is Tampa Bay plus 37.
Sheesh.
I mean, outside of those four teams, there's only 5 other teams with a positive point differential. So there's five, and then there's the 4 NFC North. Crazy. So, I mean, by and large,
that is crazy.
Hands down, the best division in football.
Okay.
So the biggest winner is the Bears and the NFC North.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go on the flip side.
Oh, that's easy. You talked about them before. Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys. You are 3-2. You're home. Now, granted, you got the Detroit Lions coming, and these are not your mama's Lions. They're not your grandmama's Lions. These are the Dan Campbell, I'm going to bite your kneecap Lions. But 47-9 at home when you're 3-2 and they're 3-1. Like, that was supposed to be a game. That was supposed to be one of the better games of the day. 47-9. I mean, they got mollywopped. And yes, I'm going to use mollywopped. They got mollywopped. They got drugged all over the stadium. They got spanked. They sold. They sold, as the kids say these days. Cowboys completely sold. Like, they sold 47-9, the biggest loser. It's not even close.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Unexpected performances.
That was one. I mean, let's just put that there. But we're gonna put that in its own little box. I mean, honestly, outside of that, I don't think there were any other huge unexpected performances. So I'm gonna go on the flip side though. So I'm gonna twist it a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna say the Commanders.
Okay.
And here's why. Because I think even though the Commanders were 4-1, there's a lot of hype around Jaden Daniels, blah, 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 blah. They're going into Baltimore to play the Ravens, right? So I feel like there was still an aspect of it that was like, all right, Washington, like, that's cute, right? But now you're coming in to play big boy football against one of the teams that has historically, over the last decade, been not only one of the better teams in the NFL, tough to play, tough defense, good, solid, fundamental, disciplined team. Like, if this is a game the Commanders are going to lose, they're going to lose decisively, right? They came in there and they battled. They battled. It was a one-score game, 30-23. I mean, they held their own against one of the league's best. I mean, so to me, I think it says a lot for how they're setting themselves up for the rest of the season. Like, Washington is not going to get pushed around. If they didn't get pushed around by Baltimore, right, they're not going to get pushed around by very many teams at all, if anybody. So I'll say unsurprising from that aspect, because I thought perhaps this is the game where, as they say, Washington will come back to earth, right? They've been on this high. Now they'll just come back to earth. And no, they battled to the end, one-score game. So I got to salute them for that.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard that much good said in one fluid, long sentences about
it's been 3
Washington.
weeks in a row for them.
I know. It's crazy. Well, all credit to, obviously, their quarterback and then, other players as well. So, rookie expectations then. Jaden Daniels clearly,
Clearly. I
right?
mean, we talked about Caleb a little bit. The other one that we had was Drake May for New
Mm.
England. So he finally made his first start. He was the third overall pick in the draft, right? So it was Caleb, Jaden, and then Drake May. So
Okay.
Jacoby Myers had been starting before. I mean, Jacoby Myers, Jesus. Jacoby Brissett had been starting before. Finally, Drake got his opportunity to play. 20 of 33, 240 yards, 3 tutties, 2 picks, though. They lost 41-21. Pretty ugly day offensively from them. Definitely defense didn't help them out at all. So, Drake May also had 5 carries for 38 yards. I mean, it wasn't a horrible debut. It wasn't the best debut. He didn't go and scorch earth, right? So we'll see what happens. You see how he progresses. I'm assuming he's going to be QB1 the rest of the way. And then when I look through, I mean, trying to find some other, Brock Bowers did his thing again. He's been balling out, but I feel like he's going to keep balling out given that Devontae was traded, right? More targets for him now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, other than that, I feel like it was a, quiet day for most of the other rookies.
Okay. So it's not as much activity as previous weeks.
Other than a couple of other than the top quarterbacks, right, balling out.
Right. Okay. What would you like to? I want to leave this up to you. What would you like to do? Would you like to go one of two routes? We can discuss the RBA player / moment of the week, or we can talk about the Falcon Frenzy.
I mean, let's go Falcon Frenzy first. Let's there's not that much frenzy.
The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Look, this is a game that we're supposed to win. But I will say the one thing they always talk about in the NFL is while there may be record-wise and talent-wise games you're supposed to win, anytime you play a division rival, it's like all bets are off, right? There'll be crazy situations. The worst teams will find a way to win games against better teams. Just because they're division rivals, they know each other a little bit better, right? Like your players are playing maybe a little harder in that particular game. So Carolina's played us tough, even though they've been bad the last couple of years. They've played us tough and beaten us several times too. But alas, that was not the case here. I think at halftime we had a 5-point lead. I'll be honest with you, I kind of fell asleep in the first half. I was tired. I don't like the 4:25 starts, right? Like I need my Falcons to start at 1:00. Those 4 o'clock games, I'm an old man, so I enjoy my mid-afternoon nap, and they are right in the middle of that. But yeah, it was a 5-point game. I kind of woke up and I was like, why are we keeping it so close with them? This is crazy. And we only outscored them by 3 in the third, so it was an 8-point game going into the fourth. I was like, here we go. They're gonna come down to the wire again. But then we scored 10 more points in the fourth quarter. Got a couple turnovers from the Panthers, couple picks. So it was the first time in a while that I could remember not being stressed out with 2 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. I mean, to be real, that was good. I had no stress. They took care of business. It felt weird because I'm not used to it. Actually, it's so funny because Drake London was interviewed and he said that it was weird for him because he's usually in the middle of this down to the wire thing. He's like, I didn't know how to act on the sideline because we were up, we were up by 18, right? No, I mean, look, and this is one thing I love about the NFL is week to week, depending on game, opponent, strategy, conditions. There's so many different things. That's just a few, just to name a few. Your approach changes. And so 1 week we could win with Kirk Cousins throwing for 500 yards. And the next week we win because our running backs ran for over 200 yards combined between Algier and Bijan. So teams, I think the best teams in NFL history have always been the teams that find a way to win games in multiple ways. They're not one-trick ponies, right? And so, like I said, I'm just happy we went in, handled our business on the road, picked up the dub. I think we're 3-0 in the division right now, which is huge. Always important. We went 3 straight dubs in a row, Saints, Bucks, Panthers. So we got the Seahawks coming up at home. Thankfully, that game is at home and not in Seattle. It's still going to be a tough game. Seattle's really good. Then we got Tampa, Cowboys, Saints again, Broncos. So we've got an interesting slate of games, but with the way that we've been playing, they're all winnable. So looking forward to just taking it week by week. I sound cliche like an NFL team, but literally taking it week by week. And, we got 4 wins now. Let's try to get another 4 and another 4, and then boom, we're in the playoffs.
Right. Or as DJ Khaled would say, right? Another one.
Another one. I mean, that's what we're telling our boys, right? Finish out the season. We're just trying to go 1-0 every week. And one of them asked about, can we make the playoffs if this and that? I said, look, we're going to go 1-0 this week. And then next week, we're going to go 1-0. And then the chips are going to fall wherever they may.
Right. There you go. Boom. All right. So now we go to, I guess, the second part of it, the RBA moment or player or however you want to deliver it.
Man, it's so hard. There were a lot of really good performances, but I'm going to have to go back to, I believe, who I gave it to last week. I don't recall 100%, that whole age thing. But King Henry, man.
That's right. That
King
was
Henry,
the one.
Bruh, 24 carries, 132 yards, 2 tutties. Like, whatever rumors there were of this guy's demise or decline, he clearly has not gotten the memo. Okay?
No,
No, I don't think he got the memo because he is a 30-year-old running back, right? They're supposed to be on their decline. He's had a lot of usage. He's had some years where he's had a ridiculous number of carries, right? If you look at the 2020, let's just start from 2019, 303 carries. 2020, 378 carries. In 2021, he only played in 8 games, but even in those 8 games, he had 219 carries. The next season, 2022, 349 carries. Last year, down a little bit to 280. But so far in his career, he's had 2,149 carries in his career. He's got a lot of mileage on him for a 30-year-old running back. Now, if you ever watched his offseason training videos, dude's different. You talk about built different?
Yep.
He's the definition of built different. I still can't believe he was a second-round pick. That just boggles my mind. But let me give you his regular season ranking. Carries. He has 119 carries. Guess where that places him in the league? In terms of like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th.
Right.
What do you think?
Right.
What do you think?
First.
Touchdowns. 8 tutties. Guess where that would place him?
First.
Talk about, like, if there's any quarterback right now that is squarely in the MVP race, it is King Henry. So he gets my RBA moment of the week.
Well, truly the king. So this king theme, I guess, really kind of goes along with, is he the LeBron James of running backs?
He's got a way to go because Frank Gore was a monster for a long time, well past what his running back prime should have been.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's entering that territory, though. He's in that territory.
He's in the territory.
Okay. Well, King Henry, RBA, again, back to back. Much respect to you, sir. And so what are you most excited for come week 6? What are we looking forward for?
Oh, my goodness. There's so many salivating matchups. I knew you'd like that.
Okay. This guy mollywop and salivate. Drop some more, sir.
So I got Seahawks, Falcons, of course, on the agenda. Seahawks are 3-3, Falcons 4-2. Texans, Packers. Texans are 5-1. Packers are 4-2. Tough defense, good offense. Going at it, like that's going to be a good game. How about this we're going to call this going to be a barn burner. Vikings. Vikings versus the Lions.
Okay.
The 5-0 Vikings, the 4-1 Lions. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Clash of the Titans. Chiefs 49ers.
Okay.
Super Bowl rematch.
Minus McCaffrey, though.
Minus McCaffrey, though. Ravens, Bucks. Both teams 4-2. A lot of good games. A lot of good games on the schedule. So I'm excited because there's been a couple weeks where it's only been like 1, maybe 2. We have a lot of really solid matchups here.
We got a full slate. Yeah. I love it.
I mean, even Eagles Giants, right? You got Saquon going back to New Jersey or New York for the first time, right? I mean, and they always play each other tight, division opponents, etc.
Is Malik back?
Jets possibly.
Okay.
It's still up in the air. Jets Steelers. Fast for one, I forgot, right?
Yeah.
We get our first taste of Devontae. Steelers at home, tough Steelers defense. that's the Sunday night game. So yeah, there's a lot of salivating matchups.
That's right. Barn
I said
burners
it a
and
second time,
salivating.
just for you.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the barn burner throw in there as well. Might have to put a word list. Ken's what was the thing?
Kenisms.
The Kenisms. Barn
Yeah.
burners, mollywops, and salivates.
Oh yeah, I got more next week. Don't worry.
I'm sure you do. All right. So as usual, off the real field, onto the fake field, the virtual field, our low expectations league. Sir,
Well,
let's recap.
there's at least one team with very high expectations because To Infinity and Bijan, aka Chico's team,
That's right.
continues to dominate. Dropped another 300 points this week, won by 75. And I didn't really have anybody like really blow up. It's just everybody scored over like 20 something. I didn't have anybody really underperform too much.
More consistent performances throughout.
Yeah. So I was excited for that. We had, let's see, my brother-in-law took down Tage, and then non-rapper Drake took you down.
Yes,
Dylan.
sir. That's right.
And he dropped 306 points.
Yeah, he balled out
Which
this
I
week.
think that might be the season high now.
Really?
Is 306, yeah.
Because I saw that whoever he played, he would have beat. I think that's what I saw.
Of course, yeah. There was no that you didn't have a chance because he beat you by over 76.
Right. No, I don't think anybody had a chance in our league. Whoever he played,
I had a chance. I mean, he would have beat everybody in our league. I would have had a chance if I made one different move because I scored 303, so we would have been 3 points apart. But no, I mean, he's the highest scoring for the season so far.
Okay,
he got 36 from Zay Flowers, 33 from Terry McLaurin, 35 from Bijan, almost 30 from Bucky Irving, 37 from Joe Mixon, and he just balled out. And he still had 21 points on the bench in Christian Watson, which is crazy. But what killed you was Dak, bro. Dak, he sold. I told you the Cowboys sold.
Yes, Dak, he did sell, bro. He sold hard.
He gave you a whole 1.22 points. But
even if I had my backup was Jared Goff, I think he had 34-ish points. And even if I put him in, it wouldn't have mattered. So
it wouldn't have mattered. So
no biggie.
So league standings, I'm the first. I'm tied for first, but I'm ahead because
who are you tied with?
My brother-in-law. We're both 4-2.
Okay.
But I'm in first because I have scored almost by 200. I know I've outscored everybody. Like who's got the lowest amount? It's my sister, and I've almost outscored her by 400 points.
That's crazy.
It
reminds me of my last season.
Yeah. So that's cool though. I see that there's some interesting movements that are happening. Looks like somebody's building a super team to try to beat me.
I'm just following the trend. That's all I'm doing.
What trend?
The trend of trades. I see all these trades happening. Always be the quiet guy sitting in the back, not doing nothing. Suddenly I make a move and it's the fan.
Well, so actually the one that my brother-in-law made with D earlier in the year came back to bite him big time.
Which was that?
Because he traded Jahmyr Gibbs for Rashee Rice from Kansas City.
Okay.
And which on the surface was a decent trade. But then Rashee Rice, the very next game after he got him, that's when Mahomes ran into him, torn ACL, out for the year. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So basically gave up Jahmyr Gibbs for nothing.
So that's funny because Tej asked me about this whole concept, right? I'm like, listen, Tej, you gotta take fantasy for the word what the word means. It's a fantasy, right? You can't predict what's going to happen. And then Wookiee of the Year is a prime example of that, right? You draft Christian. Who else drafted Christian McCaffrey first pick is not sitting on a dud first pick. You're sitting on an Anthony Bennett situation, right? Or a Greg Oden, unfortunately.
Well, not only that, but she also has Christian McCaffrey on IR, Puka Nacua on IR, and Nico Collins on IR. And then she's had other games where like Anthony Richardson's one of her quarterbacks. He's been in and out hurt. Like he didn't play like the last game, right? He was the emergency quarterback and Flacco played. So she had to change that up at the last second. Like
So she has the injury bug.
Big time. So her team is constantly like anybody she puts in is getting hurt, and that's how you don't know how it's going to be year to year. So it's cool.
Right.
I'm gonna see how the super team plays out and how that stacks up with me for the rest of the season.
Hey.
And I'm gonna let it ride this year, but next year we'll probably put some more guardrails in place to not build a super team.
Okay.
But I wanna see how it plays out though. I'm curious.
You're curious to see how it's going to work out?
Yeah, I want to see if I can.
Next week we'll reveal more detail on that, and we'll explain the method to the madness.
There's no method to the madness.
There is,
but that's okay.
We'll reveal that. It's like the cliffhanger.
Are you gonna trade him back?
We'll reveal it next week.
Wait, who y'all playing this week? Now I gotta find out. Yeah, you're not playing me, so I'm good. I'm playing my brother-in-law. So Dylan is playing Tage, and you're playing Jen. You don't need any help beating her.
This guy.
Dylan and Tage are pretty much neck and neck. It'll be interesting to see how their matchup plays out. But I mean, once that trade goes through, it's gonna be ridiculous because he's gonna have. It's gonna be ridiculous, but that's okay. I'm not gonna reveal it till next week.
Yeah, let's hold that, and then we'll reveal the whole story and context next week in more detail.
I look forward to it, but in the meantime, all I do is win, no matter what.
All right, well, we'll see what happens, and we will see all you good folks next week. Same time, same place, same channel. Remember to tune in at Think RBA. For now, peace.
Peace.